Good day, everyone. Welcome once again. This week, we'll be focusing on how to deal with fear and anxiety in communication. In dealing with fear, the first strategy is fear mapping. Fear mapping is identifying specifically those thoughts, those inner suggestions that brings fear and anxiety when you're about to communicate. Thoughts like, I may forget what I'm supposed to say. What if the people don't find me interesting? Or someone from the audience throws a hard question to me? Or I have a shaky voice. These thoughts need to be mapped out in dealing with fear. The next question you need to answer after you have mapped your fear is, what is the probability of that really happening? For each of the fears you've identified, take a moment and ask yourself a very realistic question. Can these things really happen? So that what is abstract, what only exists in your mind, does not prevent you from having effective communication. Answer the question, these things I'm afraid of, what is the possibility of them really happening? If your fear is genuinely possible, for instance, that you may forget your line, the remedy to that is to practice over and again. After answering the question of probability, the next question to ask yourself is, what is the worst case scenario and what is the realistic outcome? Now think of the worst thing that can happen. Let your mind run wild. Think of all the terrible things that you think can happen. Now, come back to reality and ask yourself, can those things really happen? What would really happen if you forget your lines? What would really happen if the audience laughs at you? What would really happen if you stutter? Truly, you may be embarrassed. Truly, the hall may be silent. But that moment doesn't have to define that communication if you know how to get back up on your feet. In conclusion, next to these fears you have identified, write out an action plan. It is a clear strategy on how you will handle these fears if they occur. Perhaps you're afraid of making presentations or talking to the crowd. Your action plan can be that I would carry a note card with me that contains the key points of my conversations. You can go up there with a bottle of water so that while you are sipping the water, you are looking at your note card to remind you of the next talking point. I assure you that engaging in this exercise will reveal to you that your fears are not as big as you think they are. By preparing for the worst case scenario, you build your confidence to be ready for whatever comes your way. Enjoy the rest of your day.